Hey guys, welcome to a study with me. I'm gonna be studying for 3 hours, so we're gonna do 50 minutes of study, then 10-minute break in between. It's gonna be gas. We're gonna have a study group as well, so I'm studying with these two people.
Hey, we're also in medicine.
Yeah.
In Trinity.
So I'm normally a RCSI student, but we're working in Trinity. We're gonna be studying in Trinity. Look at the view. Wait, let me show you guys. Look at that, guys. Like, look, I'm gonna be studying here. Y'all better also be locking in. So yeah, boom, that's the room. So before we start, this study with me won't just be a regular study with me. I'll be doing my own independent study, as you can see, but my friends are here too, so they'll be studying in the background by teaching to each other. So you'll hear some cool medical knowledge and waffle in the background as well. I'll also be joining them for a couple parts to also learn with them. So it will be very interesting and you guys will love it. So put this in the background and enjoy while doing your own work.
And then glycoprotein 2B3A. And it sounds like a lot for when you first hear it, but it actually is quite intuitive to understand once you go through all the mechanisms that happen in preventing injury or treating. And then our alpha granules. So these are our von Willebrand's factors, fibrinogen, factor 5, and PF4. So how do platelets find a site of vascular damage? So it's platelet adhesion. So this very first part. So our von Willebrand factor. So it's a globulomeric multimetric circulating plasma protein. It contains binding sites for platelets and subendothelial tissue, and it must be tethered to these binding sites to be exposed. So once it's kind of curled up like this, but then once it attaches, the binding sites for it are obvious, and then the platelets can adhere. And then the glycoprotein 1B9. Okay. It has a timer there. It's glycoprotein 9,5. So platelet receptors composed of 4 subunits. So we have our glycoprotein 1BA, 1B beta, 1B alpha.
Wait, what slide are we on?
I'm on slide 20.
Okay. And then I feel like I did not. Did we talk about VWF?
Yes. Do you want me to go through it?
Maybe, yeah, because I was at slide 17.
Oh, that's okay. So our von Willebrand's factor. So this is a globulometric binding protein.
So it exposes the site of injury.
It will attach. I'll write it down. Attach to site of injury.
It's like a signal for the platelets to come.
Exactly, because, not even a signal, because the platelets are already running through because they're in circulation in the blood. So then when they spot this von Willebrand factor, they'll be attracted to it and they'll go down because they have the receptors on their surface.
Okay.
To site of injury?
The receptors for the platelets.
Yes.
Or the whatever surface receptor.
Yeah, for their glycoprotein.
Yeah.
So attach to site of injury, untether, exposing binding sites. Platelets in circulation will attach with their receptors. Is everything okay so far?
Yeah.
Platelet aggregation. And then the last thing, coagulation cascade, but that's the next section. So we're mainly focusing is this platelet aggregation because the constriction is intuitive. So yeah, the glycoprotein 9,5 complex receptor, so 4 subunits, and then each of these subunits essentially has a different function. So glycoprotein 1B9,5. Yeah. So then it has, so all of these begin with glycoprotein. So it has our N1B. So 1B alpha, and then 1B beta. And then glycoprotein, that's 9. And then glycoprotein 5, which makes sense because it's 9. So this is coupled to the underlying exoskeleton of our platelets.
Oh, it's IX and V supposed to be 9 and 5, and you just changed them.
Yeah, to make it more obvious.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
I don't think we can do that.
Well, and when I write it down, I'll go through the Roman numerals and
Okay, you need to, yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
That I can't write it as 9,5?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Okay. This
It's
is just
like it's like these old people that just used to use Roman letters and now use 9-5. But like we know that it's 9-5, but like they've called it that. You know?
Oh, they've given it like the numbers.
No, but I guess maybe you can. Well, did you search it up? Did something come up when you wrote that?
I think so. Yeah, like Sarah looked it up, and I'm pretty sure she looked it up with the numbers.
Oh,
We
really?
can check it again. So then, to the alpha, is what connects to the von Willebrand
Or maybe you can. I don't know.
I'll double check. So the alpha connects to the von Willebrand factor. And then this is crucial for platelet adhesion in high shear conditions. So we're a high shear condition.
You're very good at explaining.
Oh, thank you. So it's pretty straightforward. They should just change the name. So high shear conditions is just high shear, so it's like a lot of pressure. This is in our arterial vessels. And then low shear conditions, this is in our venous vessels. Actually, I'm going to get my phone because I have some extra support.
Yeah, go for it. I'll take a break while I do it.
We can't come up here again, but because these whiteboards are cool. We don't know that. Shear conditions, it's just arterial, and then our low shear conditions are just venous, because the pressure is less.
Okay.
So then, to return to our surface receptors,
And what slide are we on now? 23?
Yeah, I was on 20 just there, I think.
Oh, never mind.
Let me double check. I was on the Yeah, it should become like ninja or something. Yeah, 21. So then our surface receptors, yeah. So our GPs, so glycoprotein 6 is for low shear conditions in terms of adhering to platelet. Glycoprotein 1B 9.5, I believe is for high shear conditions. High shear conditions. High shear conditions and binds to one von Willebrand's factor. That's where this like whole thing comes from. Our alpha like subunit of our glycoprotein 1B95 is what connects to our von Willebrand's factor. And then our glycoprotein, I think it's 2B3A. 2B3A, perfect. This is for aggregation. So these are both for adhesion, platelet adhesion, so that initial like primary plug, and then this is for the aggregation of the platelets. Wait, sorry, I kind of misspoke there. Like the primary plug, it consists of adhesion and aggregation. So this is our adhesion, so that initial first to the collagen, and then this is our aggregation. So this binds a von Willebrand's factor and fibrinogen bridge. To another platelet. That's what I was referring to earlier when I mentioned that for this aggregation part, we have this platelet, and then we have the glycoprotein 2B3A.
Okay.
So, yeah. Aggregate.
Okay, I'll change my seat in case someone sees me.
Okay, that's cool. So, I think no one really cares because it's like there's no signature.
Yeah, that.
What levels we're studying?
Yeah, like kill us, bro. Like what the fuck?
We don't care.
So what's the first one? GP what? Alpha?
This one here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 6. That's 6. Excuse me. Sorry, beg your pardon. This is 6. So this is for adhesion. Low shear conditions, high shear conditions, and then this is for aggregation. So this is when it connects that to another platelet. Do you understand?
Yeah. I think I do.
That's good. So, and then
I think I'm confused actually. Like,
Okay.
where are you getting all these GPs from?
these are the surface receptors
Like what
of
side
our
are they on?
platelet. Oh, this was a couple slides back. This was like 16 or 17, where it's like the ultrasound.
Well, it doesn't say like it doesn't say their options.
Yeah, this was just like kind of external stuff. This is what Sarah helped me with. That's why it's good to go through it. That's why it took us longer than it is taking me to explain it to you, Jan.
Oh, so do we need to know all this?
I have it all written down.
Well, we don't need to know it because it's not on the slide.
But it comes up later.
Oh, it comes up later.
But
Okay.
it's easier to just explain as we go.
Okay. So I'll just then go over that while we're.
Do you want me to continue or do you want me to take a second?
Maybe like go over it like maybe before I just try to figure it out myself. You go over it quickly,
Okay, definitely.
and if I understand it, then I will.
One second, I'll just take it from my phone.
Yeah, it's tiring. Well, to explain.
Thank you, Leanne.
It
And
is
that's
though.
why-
Even
It
I
is.
got tired.
It is. Okay, so. Do you want me to start from hemostasis or
Just that bit.
the platelet? Okay. So this is our platelet. They circulate as quiescent cells, so they are searching for problems, right? They're searching for they're searching for von Willebrand factors that are binded to our collagen because we have extended exposed vessel, right? And then we have our surface receptors. So our surface receptors, we have these are like the very outermost, and these are what play the biggest role in forming our primary platelet plug. So we have our glycoprotein 6. Now this is what binds like initially in the adhesion part of of the healing, and this is in low shear conditions. So glycoprotein 6, low shear conditions, and then glycoprotein 1b95 is in high shear conditions, and this will bind to our von Willebrand's factors. And so they're both for adhesion. And then for aggregation, we have glycoprotein 2b3a, which when our glycoprotein 95 is connecting directly to the von Willebrand's factors at the site of injury, the glycoprotein 2b3a is connecting one platelet to another platelet. So that's why it's part of aggregation. So in our primary platelet plug, we have adhesion and then we have aggregation. And then I'll go through the dense and the surface granules.
Okay, perfect. I understand that.
Great. Sorry, I feel like I wasn't listening to you when you weren't understanding.
No, don't apologize. You're tired. We're all tired.
And then we have so these are the other things that are maybe slightly less important. So we have our dense granules. So what is it? It's our calcium ion, and then we have our ADP, and then we have our serotonin.
Yeah.
And this is what promotes activation. The activation of the platelet to begin to adhere. And the activation includes the changing of the platelet shape in order for it to adhere better, and for the correct surface receptors to reach the correct their constituents that they would connect to. So aid in activation. And then we have our alpha granules. So our fibrinogen, our von Willebrand's factor, and then I think it's PF4.
Yeah. Factor B.
Factor B. So factor 5, which is an important part of the coagulation cascade, but that's for the next section. And what these do is for adhesion and activating. So this is the initial part, adhesion, and then this is for activating it further. Okay, sick. So that's all you really need to know about these. Activation, adhesion, activating.
Okay. For the platelet adhesion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then our glycoprotein.
So they're all in this adhesion step, important only.
Exactly.
Okay.
These are all parts of our platelet. And then I went through the von Willebrand factor with you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then the glycoprotein 1b95.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have.
Yeah, it's for adhesion. And then the 2GA1 is for aggregation.
Yeah, so this, our glycoprotein will bind to von Willebrand's factor, and it will bind to the which is an important part of our coagulation cascade. So our steps in our platelet aggregation. So I'm just gonna break it down here so we know I'm talking about platelet aggregation. Is adhesion, activation, and aggregation. Because once it's has become adhesed, attached, yeah. Once it's become attached, it needs to be activated, right? No, we're not wasting our time. You know what I'm talking about. So once it has become attached,
I don't
it
know
needs
the
to.
verb of adhesive. Give me. It's called adhere.
Adhere. Wow. And then in order for us to go from this adhesion phase to our aggregation, it needs to become activated. So these are things such as platelet change and platelet shape. Our glycoprotein 2B3A, which is important for this aggregation step. So, and then release of our granules. And then also, do you know like the flip-flop of the cell membrane? Yes. So basically, when our other cell membranes of the platelets will flip-flop to where the negative side faces outwards. So this is no longer facing the cytosolic side, it's on the outside, and this makes the platelets more sticky as it compared to the negative things on the negative receptors of the other platelets. So this increases the aggregation, so even more platelets can come in and join.
Like who does that?
When our things flip flop, what's it? Flopase? The enzyme? Flipase. Flop.
I'm kind of like confused. Can you like rewind?
Yeah.
This red part that you're explaining down here.
Yeah.
It says change in platelet shape, and then granular release. Like all these, who's doing it? Like what's going on? You know, like I'm just. It seems like a lot of words, but like I don't really know like. Cause I guess maybe this is like an addition to what you were saying there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, you can keep going.
Yeah, these are just the things that happen within the platelet once they adhere.
Oh, okay. So change in platelet shape, and then GP causes aggregation, and then granular release. What does granular release do?
Granular release just what's it?
I just want to know, like, okay, what is the like? Anyway.
What's it? So the release of our dense granules, these aid in the activation. It doesn't tell us necessarily how to like recognize.
I think it like is involved in like if it's released, GP2 will bind, and that will cause aggregation, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But we don't need to like.
And then flip-flop will cause even more things to come in. So I get it now.
I watched this lecture, so like I think if you didn't mention anything like that.
Yeah, this is all like a lot of like extra information, maybe.
Do you think?
Maybe.
This is the lecture.
Oh, I'm just like, I don't know where you're getting all this. Like, I'm trying to find it.
But like, if you look at the learning goals, we have covered everything.
Yeah. This is really good info. I'm just saying, like, I don't know where it is. Oh, I guess like it's all over.
Yeah.
And you're just like quickly going through it, which is good.
I'm trying to.
Oh,
like,
it's after slide 38. It's on slide 38. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, what's it? So the activation is basically, sorry, I left this part out. Is when a platelet goes from its like quiescent state, which is how we described it initially, when it's in circulation, it's just looking for something to do, to its active state, whereby it can aggregate. So these are just like, and then that includes all of these changes that have occurred. And then there's also, what's it? Oh yes, and then this thing called the open tunicular system. This is slide 35, where our platelets have these invaginations. Where our platelets have these invaginations, and it basically just increases the surface area, so more platelets can activate.
That's good, yeah.
Platelet sticky flip-flopping. And then this is a part of the next one, but I'll just like mention it here. So tissue factor is a membrane receptor expressed on the surface of extravascular tissue. So if there is an injury, it's not just that like our blood is the thing that's like helping it heal. Our endothelium itself will release this thing called tissue factor, which if you know like thrombin, Tissue factor will like
What's
trigger.
thrombin?
Thrombin is like coagulating like protein, and it's for the next part, our coagulation cascade, where we're making it even stronger. So then tissue factor, after this initial primary plug has been created, tissue factor will trigger the synthesis, or not the synthesis, but like the, we'll say synthesis, the creation of thrombin to make it even stronger. I just wanted to introduce it to you there, but we'll go into it. Okay.
Only like profs are as good as you. Like that's really good. You'd be such a good teacher.
Oh, thank you. I always feel like I'm bad at explaining stuff.
No, you are. You're good at explaining.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, you're the opposite of that. Sorry. Like you're not bad. Like because you said I always think I'm bad at explaining.
Yeah.
And then I went, yeah, no. You're good at
No, I get
explaining.
you, I get you. I always waited for something after you say something. For the clarifying statement.
Because I think I'm so like I'm thinking in my head you're a good teacher, so I'm like yeah, and then I don't hear what you're saying, and I'm like, oh no, that's not what I meant.
Okay. So okay, our learning objectives, do you feel like we'll go through and
I think this is good. I think we can move on to the next thing.
Okay, so you feel like you can like define, so you know what homeostasis is, and you know why the regulation is important.
Yeah. And I think you gave me a good like overview of the MOA, so that if I go through any disease things or like go through any slides, I'll know like maybe what everything does.
Okay, deadly. Yeah, understand why cell membranes are essential to coagulation, describe platelet adhesion, activation, and blood formation, identify the cellular and plasma components. And also, my plan is, after the anatomy exam on like the Monday, like or on that Monday, the MCQ, the next 3 days, I literally just want to spend the entire day like in TBSI or in one of the basement rooms and just go through every lecture like this.
Okay, like very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's after we'll have covered everything.
Okay.
So our coagulation. On to this third part, coagulation cascade. So I'm gonna go over here. Oh, this is kind of rubbing out.
Okay, so we're doing that. Okay. Do you want me to do the lecture after?
Yeah, so we'll do this one, and then we'll do your one, and then it's like we'll both have done 2 lectures each.
Yeah, and then maybe like tomorrow we don't, and then after tomorrow we do again. Or do you want to do tomorrow too?
I'm cool with whatever. Maybe we'll take a break tomorrow because maybe
I think so we can like revise the lectures and present them. You know?
That's true.
Wait, what lectures would you want to do? So we can just take a break for a bit. I just need like a 1-minute break.
Yeah.
Wait, let me open it.
Do you want to take a picture of this or should I rub everything out?
No, I actually do.
Want to take a picture?
Yeah.
Okay, I can take one for you. I'm a bit closer.
But my phone's better. Sorry.
I'm just gonna go get tissue.
Oh yeah, go get it.
the ward lectures. The first half is like an overview of like for this one, it's like overview of anti-throm. That's the last lecture that we're gonna do of dating. So an overview of like the coagulation and hemostasis. So this thrombus is like that part of that. It keeps like going through and then he does the pharmacology. So he'll do some basic physiology and pathophysiology, and then he does the pharmacy.
I could do that.
Yeah. I went through those two yesterday.
Really?
I went through the two ward lectures.
Okay. So do you want to do other ones?
Yeah, I haven't done that very
so
last
maybe
one.
explain this to me, and then I'll do like another one. I'll do these.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to do? Yeah, you can do the last two. I've done the first one, and then you can go through the. So this one I'll explain fully. This one you explain fully, and then this middle one we both have. I've done it, and then you do it, and then we'll look at it together.
Okay, and then this is just like what is this?
This is daily, but I've done all of them, so all the tomatoes.
Okay, yeah, maybe just like explain to me the word one, and then I can do these. I don't know if you've already done this.
I've done everything except for the last lecture. So
Okay,
I've done
I'll
all of
do
the ones.
this, and then maybe what else is there? We've done all of it.
Yeah, I just want to be honest, I just have a couple ones here that I need to go over. I don't know.
Honestly, maybe we should just revise whatever you feel that's not so well, because I haven't done this.
Okay.
Not now, but like.
No, I know. I'll show you what I have done.
Yeah, that's easier. I could do the sepsis one.
Do whatever you want. I actually have to go sepsis. That would be good.
Yeah, just for efficiency.
Yeah. So I've done all of like the cardio and the rest, I just haven't highlighted it. But from here on, I haven't done these lectures. Well, I guess we've gone through the body regulations. But yeah, I haven't done UTIs. I haven't done this one yet. I haven't done this one yet. We'll do this integrated when we do cardio. What do you think? And then, so do you want to do sepsis? Also, you can change your mind. Like this isn't like super set in stone.
No, I think we should do ones you haven't done.
Okay, so do you want to do sepsis or you were saying?
Yeah, I can do sepsis,
Oh, I've also done.
and then I can do the last lecture, and then we can do it after tomorrow.
Yeah, perfect. So Thursday.
Yeah. And then you can explain to me the rest of whatever this is.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I feel like we only started in April. I think we're like the 1st of April. I think I've done really good work.
Yeah, we're doing well. I think we're covering things. And like, what's her name? My roommate Tully did like renal and like cardiac and stuff like that. And she has a lot of MCQs that her like prof did.
Oh,
I can tell her to send it. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
That's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
I think about what you said, and you're like, you always have like a friend who has
Really?
Like, when you were like, oh, like friends, like my friend who works at Workman, and then my punk hoodie, and then I was like saying to like someone earlier, I was like, oh yeah, like it's like, my friend works at Marks and Spencer's, he bought hoodies. It's like, always happens in my head, I was like, you always have a friend who does something. I'm like, that's true.
My friend doesn't work in that.
No, I was just like, in my head, I was like, my friend Charlie.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my god, what was it? Karaoke after exams, so that was gonna be fun. But I've decided. So what are the benefits of the cascade effect? So this is the very final part of like our hemostatic measures to injury. So we got our vasoconstriction, we got our platelet flood, and then we have our cascade, which is, that's our primary platelet flood, because ultimately, even though there's a bunch of platelets there and we have a fibrin connecting them, it's actually not that strong. So we need our cascade, which has things like thrombin, like I mentioned earlier. Why it's effective is that it's like multiple steps of like enzymes to like catalyze into the final. Oh yes, coagulation cascade.
Oh yeah, I have it.
So yeah, the activated form of one clotting factor catalyzes the activation of the next. So amplification, if each activates 10 of the next step in the pathway, then you have a 10-fold amplification after only 4 steps. So it's like bit like this basically. They just keep going more and more and more. So next slide. So these are our plasma coagulation glycoproteins. And then just like these are all of the ones that we will look through now. And the importance of the liver to hemostasis is that it synthesizes a lot of these coagulation glycoproteins. So we have like fibrinogen, prothrombin, factor 5. That's for our first like extrinsic factor. You'll see that later, so like ignore that for now. But we'll see factor 5, we'll see factor 7A, and then we'll see factor 10. And then for our intrinsic, we'll see 12, 9, 11, and 10 factors. And then our anticoagulant glycoproteins. So our antithrombin, protein C, and protein X. So these are anticoagulation is to stop the platelet flow from getting too big, which is part of hemostasis. So next slide. I'm on slide 4 now. And yeah, largely expressed in the liver. So you see the origin liver red a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then next slide, so very different plasma concentration. So fibrinogen is like highly represented, and then factor 8, for instance, is like only like 0.1 micrograms per milliliter. So next slide. So understanding the coagulation cascade. So coagulation is triggered by 2 distinct pathways. So we have our extrinsic, and we have our intrinsic. Intrinsic, we're going to go through very vaguely. We don't need to know it as much. This is the most important. Now, extrinsic is tissue factor, which I'll write as TF from now on. Mediated. So our extrinsic is triggered by tissue factor, and this is the first enzyme that will activate another enzyme to trigger our coagulation cascade. And then both of these will work, our extrinsic and our intrinsic will both work to come down a common pathway, as they will both produce factor 10 activated, which will make thrombin. So, next slide. Exposure of tissue factor initiates the coagulation cascade. So vessel damage produces tissue factor, but it will also, produce collagen, or expose the collagen, but it will also produce tissue factor, which is represented by those like RNG kind of receptors.
Yeah.
Next slide. So key points about the coagulation cascade, each step is the formation of a complex consisting enzyme cofactor substrate. Think in terms of the complexes and not what each complex does. It is non-linear, right? So like multiple like steps in this cascade can be happening at once. And then thrombin generation is central to function, and thrombin turns fibrinogen into fibrin, which is what's going to bind our platelet plug and our primary plug, and will make it much stronger and make it something that can last. So our extrinsic 10A is complex. I'm not going to base off the slides for now. I'm going to go off my own notes, just because I think I have it written down, like I understood it and then I wrote it down in a way that was clear. So, we have tissue factor, and then we have factor 7A.
And coagulation is to stop bleeding.
Yes. So tissue factor and factor 7A, and then these will work to catalyze
What's 7A?
factor 7A. It's just a coagulation. They don't have a name, so we just call it like. And then 7A, this has been activated. So tissue factor, factor 7A, work to catalyze.
Tissue factor in this case the protein, like the enzyme.
In this case, it's the cofactor,
Or
and
the
then
cofactor, and that is the protein.
and this is the enzyme, and then this is our substrate, factor 5, and then this will turn it into factor 5 activated. So this is the trigger. This is the very first thing that happens. tissue factor, cofactor. Yeah. Which is easy to remember because tissue factor is the factor. Factor 7 is our enzyme. Factor 7A, excuse me. And then this is our substrate. Our factor 5. Then we'll note that this factor 5, because it's like this whole process, our product is going to come down into the next step. So then, you can move on to the next slide. Yeah, sure. So our factor 5 and our factor 10A will work
It's called
together.
factor 5A when it's activated by 7A. Yeah.
Yes, will catalyze factor 10. Wait, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Factor 5A and factor 10 will catalyze prothrombin, the inactive form, into thrombin. And then we'll go over thrombin in a little bit. So this is our cofactor, our enzyme, and then this is our substrate. So it's also the same for all of these in terms of the order. And then this one is classified as the engine. So this is the first thing that happens. And then this engine is like what really gets us presented. And what thrombin does is thrombin can in turn release other things to make it easier for thrombin to be created. Right? So this factor this factor 5A is inhibited severely by our anticoagulant proteins. So we only have like a minimum amount of thrombin produced, right? But like where this is compensated for is what I was just explaining there. Where when we have very little thrombin, it can create like numerous other versions of itself. So it can, like, one thrombin can create like a fuck ton of other thrombin, essentially. And then those thrombin each of them can create a fuck ton of other thrombin. It's like this. Yay. Right? And then thrombin.
Like a positive feedback.
Yeah, exactly. It's a positive feedback loop. That's exactly how they describe it. Just a sign of how STEM your mind has been on. And then thrombin. Turns fibrin. Oh, sorry, fibrin no change into fibrin. Which is why it's so important. Let me bring it back out. And then our intrinsic. Is factor 12A initiated. So how intrinsic goes, we don't need to know it in that much depth. Right. Sorry, I love science.
No, I'm taking like an aesthetic picture of my story. You're not even talking in it. Look, it's just because you're like
Standing.
Yeah, so I thought it was cool.
So factor 12A will give us factor 9A.
Yeah, I'm gonna focus now, sorry.
No, it's okay. And give us factor 11, and then give us factor 10A.
Well, they cut off the numbers and just use one factor.
No. That's why it's called a cascade. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then this factor 10A.
It's
Spots right in
there.
here.
So then keep fucking making this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Um,
This moves on then. That's good. Yeah, I don't think he can like move because like the 50 minutes like
Yeah, I can't move.
You're just gonna see my head bob like in and out as I'm walking past and then again.
Oh, 2 more minutes.
It's good, cool in the background, like someone explaining with a board, you know.
Yeah, it's really aesthetic. That's why I like.
Oh my god, hopefully I'm covered by your hand.
Kinda. I'll probably, but it's so aesthetic. Like somebody's studying in the background, but it's really cool. Don't worry.
Coagulation glycoprotein, so vitamin K dependent protein. Or let me okay, now back to the slides. So this is like the most annoying part of like actually.
Oh wow. I thought we covered the most annoying part.
Yeah, no, this is it.
Oh, okay.
No, we covered the most annoying part.
Oh yay. Yay. Yay.
more like of its like products, and then those can in turn create like multiple of them. It gives us after 4 steps like a tenfold increase. So that's why it's a cascade, because it's a bunch of them happening at the same time, and a lot of them very quickly. So we just looked through the extrinsic factors, and then we're looking at, for the intrinsic, we don't need to know it that well. All that it is that it's like factor 12 mediated, and then it goes 12, 9, 11, 10. So
Is it called the thrombin spark?
Thrombin spark. Yes, when like a very little bit of thrombin can create a lot of like itself, right?
Oh yeah.
Do you want me to go through the extrinsic?
Sure. Like I think we did a lot more simpler. So like this is a lot more than like we did, I guess. But like that's really good. Like yeah, continue on it. So wait, did you guys do the extrinsic factors?
We did both.
Extrinsic, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, do the extrinsic.
Okay, so extrinsic is tissue factor mediated, right? So obviously like our initial like platelet like aggregation and our primary platelet plug
Yeah.
will form, but then also when our like blood vessels are damaged, they'll release tissue factor,
Yeah.
right? So then all of them
Yeah.
should be thought about in a way of like cofactor, enzyme, and substrate. So we have our tissue factor, and then factor 7A will work as our enzyme, and then this will work to catalyze factor 5 into factor 5 active, and this is our substrate. And then we take this product and we bring it down to the next stage. So this is the second. So this is the trigger. This is the very first thing that happens. Secondly is like the engine where we create our thrombin, right? So then our factor 5A, this is our cofactor, and then our factor 10A, which is our enzyme, will work to catalyze prothrombin into thrombin, right? However, our anticoagulant proteins will work to like decrease the amount of like factor 10 and like make it so that very little thrombin is produced. However, that's where like the thrombin spark and our positive feedback loop comes in, because a very small amount of thrombin can in turn like facilitate the generation of even more. And then if a patient is deficient in the initial components of the intrinsic pathway, such as factor 12, they don't have a bleeding tendency. However, later components of the intrinsic pathway are critical for blood coagulation. So such as factor 8 or factor 9 have a serious bleeding tendency, and that would be hemophilia A or B. So deficiency in factor 12, increased risk green it's like clinical notes.
Mm.
Thrombin spark. So we have a tiny amount of thrombin generated from our substrate, the thrombin, and then that will give us a thrombin spark. This is slide 15, and I'm going up to 16 now. Now 17. So intrinsic 10A's complex. Do I have any for this actually? Okay, so the amplifier, so factor 11 is activated by the thrombin spark from the extrinsic pathway. That's how one thrombin can make a bunch of it. And then this will turn into factor 11 active, and then that will activate the factor 9. And then factor 9A is the enzyme, and that will give us like factor 10. So like this like is a way to like circumvent the inhibition. And then lots of factor 10A generated by the intrinsic 10X complex. And then factor, actually I think I need to go over this. Okay, we'll circle back.
Yeah,
Mhm.
let's finish extrinsic and start where we were. Or
At the end we'll skip it and we'll come back to this. This is like the thrombin spark thing. Just because I need to look at it because his notes are not making sense to me.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of scared to look over this again because you explain things, but like, it looks very complicated.
His notes are like not good. Yeah. But why is the thrombin burst important? So the final structure of the fibrin plot depends on the absolute thrombin concentration and the rate of thrombin generation. So if we have like a massive burst, this will like help in the
The fibrin,
Yeah.
making the fibrin. Yeah, that's what
So central role of thrombin. So free thrombin is a procoagulant serine protease and it activates platelets, cleaves fibrinogen to fibrin, and feedback amplification. So it will activate factor 5, factor 8, and factor 11. Let me just write this down. Sorry. I need to log back in. I'm off my gingerbread vibe.
You're fine, you're fine.
So serine protease. And then it will activate. And it will amplify. So factor 5, factor 8, and factor 11. This is our spark. So how does thrombin generation influence the plot structure? And then basically just increased thrombin generation and concentration
Is XA
will aid in the fibrin flow.
10?
Yes.
Okay.
So 10A is the most important one because this is our enzyme that will catalyze our prothrombin.
So 10A will make a lot of thrombin, and thrombin will make a lot of fibrin, and then what's XIII? 9?
XII.
No, that's
No,
12.
that's 3 I's?
No,
13.
13, and that's gonna cross-link fibrin.
Yes, I think so.
But then I don't know where here is going
So you're at the part where more thrombin increases more thrombin. Is the feedback loop?
Yes. Okay. And this is basically everything we need to know. We'll go through this thrombin sparking it. But just what is thrombin? These are the things that will like it will amplify, that it will like activate like the coagulation, and then increase thrombin generation and concentration will aid in further clots. And then so our coagulation glycan proteins. So they are synthesized by the liver and secreted into the plasma, and may be dependent upon vitamin K for normal function. Composed of similar domains, and activation may involve cleavage of an activation enzyme. And then, kind of a lot of his slides are like not very useful, so I'll just write out for you what I have. So our So you have most are vitamin K dependent. Synthesized in the liver
Yeah.
and secreted into plasma and blood circulation. And then will tend to be a cofactor for thrombin generation. Okay, so what they will have is a gamma carboxy glutamic acid.
Yeah.
I probably spelled that wrong. Acid domain. And this domain is sticky, so it's like negatively charged. And it's vitamin K dependent. And then, oh no, this keeps closing. So this is calcium binding and mediates like the stickiness of our lipids. And then why this is relevant is warfarin, a blood thinner. Like, prevents glutamic acid or our gamma carboxy, from binding to our calcium cation.
Maybe explain what you just wrote.
I know, I need to go through it because I'm looking at it now. I'm like,
Yeah,
why
maybe
should I
go,
remember
yeah,
this?
yeah.
Wait, is warfarin? Oh, never mind. Yeah, when you're thinking of anticoagulation drugs, anti-warfarin is one, I think. Right?
I haven't looked up this book. She
Yeah.
was teaching it.
I know. Sorry,
Wait,
I lost my way there a little bit.
No, you're fine.
It's golden. I just remember warfarin back in anticoagulation stuff when we were doing some chemics. But yeah, boom, yeah, you're doing it right. We just knew it was vitamin K. It involves vitamin K. That's it. But that's what I knew. I probably just didn't know. Alright.
Are main types of coagulation glycoproteins. So they are either vitamin K dependent or they are cofactors for these vitamin K dependent ones. And then, despite the fact that they have opposite functions, procoagulant and anticoagulant factors share many similarities. So they're synthesized by the liver and secreted into the plasma. They may be dependent on vitamin K for normal functions, composed of similar domains, and activation may involve cleavage of an activation peptide. So vitamin K dependent coagulation factors use 4 common domain nodules. So they'll have a gamma carboxyglutamate acid domain. They'll have an epidermal growth factor. They'll have a serine protease, and they'll have a kernel domain. And then on slide 26 down, there's a
Wait, does thrombin generate from serine protease?
yes. Like prothrombin is composed of a serine protease, 2 critical domains, and then a glutamic acid domain. Do you know when you know that you understood something, but then you don't have it written down? So it's like,
Yeah. I'm reading over the metabolism one. The one I'm supposed to teach you because I'm also confused about it.
okay.
So you take your time.
Oh yes.
Wait, what part? Is it still the coagulation?
Yes. Okay. So basically, all of these things like tissue factor, thrombin, prothrombin, fibrin, they're like all the different factors with the numbers. They're all coagulation glycoproteins.
Yeah.
all synthesized in the liver, all vitamin K dependent, or their cofactors to create the vitamin K dependent ones. And then when it's like in terms of like it being sticky and like what is the relevance of this acid domain is that what's it? Oh my god, what was I trying to talk?
I'm thinking if it's sticky, more thrombin can attach to it, or something. It can
Yes,
be more
it's
attached.
for the fiber core. Exactly. Thank you. So yeah, and then what we need to know about this acid domain, and then warfarin prevents it binding to calcium because this is one of the dense granules that is released by our platelets, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll look it up actually to make sure I'm giving you the right stuff.
Same with aspirin. I think. What should be?
Okay, so calcium ion. Okay, so we've gone through. So this glutamic acid domain, which is important for the mechanism of action for warfarin. So why it's important that it's calcium ion binding is that calcium ions, also known as factor 4, are essential for blood coagulation. So they act as the bridge that binds clotting factors to negatively charged phospholipid surfaces on activated platelets. So you did right. And it enables the conformational changes in vitamin K dependent proteins needed for activation and facilitates fibrin polymerization and activates factor 8 to stabilize the clot. Okay. So clotting factors together. Allows conformational changes. And stabilizes clot. Okay. Is there anything there that you guys want me to go through again or see if I understand it and look it up?
I wasn't really listening to the coagulation GP thing.
Glycoprotein.
Oh.
So do you know like one of the, I think it was like the second or the third slide. So it was like all of the different coagulation proteins.
Yeah.
So this is basically just like the composition of them. So like our tissue factor, like all of our like factors and numbers, thrombin, all of them are coagulation glycoproteins, and they're all synthesized in the liver. They're all either vitamin K dependent for their synthesis, or they are a cofactor to generate the vitamin K dependent ones. And they secrete into the plasma.
Oh,
They can
okay.
also undergo conformational changes before they like go into the bloodstream, and then and then all of them, like most of them, would be consisting of gamma carboxyglutamate acid domain, and then this is sticky and it's vitamin K dependent. It's calcium binding and mediates the stickiness. And so why it's important that it's calcium binding? If we remember, it's one of the which is it? It's one of our dense granules inside of our platelets. So calcium is essential for like it binds clotting factors together. It allows for conformational changes within the platelets, and it stabilizes the liver clot. And then
So what does calcium do exactly? Sorry.
It binds the clotting factors together. So for instance, like whatever, like bind two of them together to make a different factor. Like
And it's C2 dependent. It has to bind to it for
yes.
it to bind to each other.
It needs to be able to bind to the glutamic acid domain. And then it allows for the conformational changes in the platelet. If you remember, we were talking about that with the previous lecture, where it's like changes in platelet shape are important for platelet activation. And then it stabilizes the fibrin bond, which is why it's part of the this cascade. So the secondary plug as opposed to the primary one.
Okay.
Yeah, what's it? I was a lot more confident with like the first part of this lecture, but it's good that we like went through this and kind of ironed it out a
Would
little.
you be able to go quickly just through the very start? Because I can't remember the tissue factor. Yeah. Tissue just, yeah.
So our extrinsic factor is tissue factor mediated. So our tissue factor is released when we have like after our primary plug, we have in like our damaged endothelial cells, tissue factor will be released, and the tissue factor will act as a cofactor to factor 7A, one of our coagulation glycoproteins, and which will work as an enzyme to catalyze factor 5 into factor 5, so factor 5A. And this is our substrate. And then factor 5A and factor 10, which are also cofactor and enzyme, if you can see above, will catalyze prothrombin into thrombin. And thrombin itself can catalyze fibrinogen into fibrin. And then this is all important for kind of like consolidating the primary platelet flow that has been there, so it makes it stronger because that initial one isn't like it doesn't have the kind of integrity for it to be able to stay that long.
Yeah, okay. I get it. And what was it? What was gonna ask? What was it called? Is it tissue factor? No. Yeah, it is tissue factor. It's tissue factor in WVF. What is that? Remember that one?
Von Willebrand's factor.
Yeah. Or is that? Oh no, remember that one.
Yeah, they're different. So then that is part. So this tissue factor is part of the cascade.
WVF is for the platelet pump.
Yes, it's for the ATP.
Yeah, that's what I was mixing up. Yeah, that
Exactly.
makes sense. Okay, thank you.
And that's it. And then we have our intrinsic, but you just need to know the factors. And then the hemophilia. So factor 12A, factor 9, factor 11, and then 2-factor 10A, which they both end up using the same thing to both in turn create thrombin. Catalyze prothrombin into thrombin, and then that will in turn catalyze fibrinogen into fibrin.
I'm seeing the slides, I get it.
Okay, definitely.
Cool.
They're like, if you want to have a look at them here, they're like hashtag so ugly. Like they're these
Oh,
ones.
I hate like it. It's for us. It's like normally it's pretty chill, but sometimes we have some like lecturers that like
Okay, we can go through this. Yeah, I hope I go through this quickly.
You don't have to use the whiteboard if you don't want to.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of bored of just sitting down and showing you like a thing.
A
But do you
slide.
want to see it, like the
I
slide?
would like pull out my. Oh yeah, if you want to like. I'll use my.
Yeah, use your iPod. I can't believe you only have an iPod. That's crazy.
Yeah, I wrote all the time. Like, all my behavioral science has it on my iPad.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You typed it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It wasn't that fun.
You don't think you need a laptop?
I mean, I technically have a laptop. I have my sister's old laptop.
You're
But
going
like,
on it.
I just don't use it. I'm probably gonna sell it. Or like find it useful.
Okay, so basically you have this little thing, okay? It's a lipoprotein. And a lipoprotein from the name is a mix of lipids and proteins that carry cholesterol and in the bloodstream. Lipids and cholesterol. Yeah, transfer lipids and cholesterol in the bloodstream. So structurally you have, there's a core, and the core is hydrophobic, and then this kind of part is hydrophilic.
Mm-hmm.
This is a bit confusing, but yeah, this part, bit like space.
You can put like negative for like that's hydrophobic and this is hydrophobic.
Yeah, negative, and then this kind of part is positive, right? Hydrophilic. Yeah. So the hydrophobic part has triglycerides and cholesterol esters, which are hydrophobic, and then the coat, which is kind of this part is like has phospholipids, and then free cholesterol and apoproteins or apolipoproteins. So apoproteins I think are like these so like you have this part which has like which is the hydrophobic part and has the cholesterol and esters, cholesterol esters and triglycerides. And then you have this bit that has like the phospholipids, and then it has the cholesterol that's free, right? I'm just gonna write this for short, and then apolipoproteins. So apolipoproteins are kind of just like thingies on it. And basically what they do are they're kind of like ligands, they bind to receptors, and then that kind of mediate uptake of lipoprotein practically with their other tissues. Yeah. So that is a ligand that will bind to the receptor, and then based on the organ it's gonna engulf it, right? And then you have apoproteins, which aren't ligands, but they're cofactors for enzymes involved in lipoprotein metabolism. So you have apoprotein C2, which is involved in lipoprotein lipase, which is basically just the metabolism of lipids, I think. Is that what it is?
I think apoprotein C2 is the apoprotein, and then lipoprotein lipase is the enzyme or the cofactor.
Yeah, it's a
It's
cofactor that breaks down circulating. Yeah, so if you have a very low density lipoprotein or a chylomicron, whatever, it's going to break it down into free fatty acids, right? And that apolipoprotein is like the cofactor that helps lipoprotein lipase that breaks it down. And then you have LPL, which is hydrolysis of triglycerides to free fatty acids, which I just talked about. Yeah. Okay. So there are 5 major classes of lipoproteins, right? You have the chylomicron, the very low density lipoprotein, the intermediate density lipoprotein, the low density lipoprotein, and the high density lipoprotein. And you can see here that the chylomicron has high amounts of triglycerides but low amounts of proteins and cholesterols, and the high density lipoprotein has very high protein and high cholesterols but very low triglycerides, hence why it has a high density and that one has a low density. Moving on. So lipid metabolism and transport. So you have exogenous, right?
Exogenous are from diet, and then endogenous is like recycled in the body.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you can just skip to the bottom part of the slide, so like the LDL, APRO.
Okay, yeah. So LDL mediates endocytosis by various tissues. So remember how in like previous lectures we talked about how LDL will bind to the LDL receptor and then it will be uptaken and then that's going to basically I think increase cholesterol synthesis. Yeah. So that's basically what it's talking about. The LDL receptor mediating the engulfment of LDL into various tissues. And then if there's too much of this LDL, it's going to be oxidized and taken up by macrophages.
Okay.
And then high density lipoproteins obtain cholesterol from peripheral tissues and other so basically HDL is the opposite where it's going to take all the cholesterol and bring it back to the liver where it's going to be it's going to be just taken back to the liver for removal by reverse cholesterol transport, which I don't know. Like, we can move on, right? Cholesterol is synthesized predominantly in the liver, endogenously, cell cytosol, so a complex 37 process. Yeah, so we kind of talked about this, but basically to make cholesterol, there's a lot of steps, like 37 steps. You obviously don't need to know all of that, but then you have this HMG-CoA, and then the HMG-CoA reductase, which gives rise to mevalonate. And I think they just pointed out because it's the low, what is it called? The rate limiting step.
Yeah.
That's why like you just should memorize that part, right? Functions, essential structural components for cell membrane. We talked about that, right? We have cholesterol in the lipid bilayer, transport of triglycerides, and the precursor to the biosynthesis of steroid hormones, right? Since cholesterol is a derivative of them. And then we kind of talked about this before, hyperlipidemia or dyslipidemia. And basically the causes of that is lifestyle factors. So if you have high fat, if you don't exercise, smoking, obesity, alcohol, and then genetic factors, which is like familial hypercholesterolemia, which basically is a defect where a defect in LDL receptors that lead to very high LDL levels.
Yeah.
Is it because there's low LDL or high LDL?
There's high LDL.
Yeah, hyper. Yeah. And then medical
cholesterol from that.
Yeah. And then medical conditions like diabetes mellitus, hypothyroidism, and kidney or liver disease. Good?
That's good.
Okay. So then basically you can you can realize whether or not you have a coronary heart disease by basically seeing the circulating low density lipoprotein and high density lipoprotein. So you can see here that high LDL and low HDL are both risk factors for coronary heart disease. Is that good? Yeah. So lipid lowering drugs. So this is kind of the same thing as like the last lecture. We kind of go over all the drugs that prevent lipids from basically prevent LDL from being very high, and from LDL from being very high and HDL from being very low.
Okay.
So then you have statins. So statins, examples of statins are simvastatin, lovastatin, and atorvastatin, all the statins. And basically what they do is that they will compete with HMG coenzyme A reductase to prevent cholesterol synthesis, right? And they do that by several mechanisms. So the first one, it activates the sterile regulatory element binding protein, transcription factors that bind to the sterile regulatory element DNA sequence. So basically, in this situation, this is like a protein called SREBP, and then that's gonna bind to the sterile regulatory element, which is like the DNA, I think, that transcribes the protein that is the HMG coenzyme reductase. So I think that it's gonna make SREBP bind to it to prevent HMG coenzyme A from forming, I think, is my like hypothesis from this. Or abbreviation will do. No, sorry. That's wrong. That's wrong. What it's gonna do is that when this SREBP protein binds to the steroid regulatory element, it's gonna promote the it's gonna like enable like more LDL receptors to be on the plasma membrane, right?
Yeah, upregulation of LDL receptors.
Then how is that
increasing
gonna-
LDL clearance from plasma into liver. So then I think it's like if you increase the LDL receptors, increasing like if you increase the LDL clearance from the plasma into the liver, so like more of it that's going through the hepatic portal vein is going through the liver, and then it's going to be disposed of and it's going to be excreted.
Okay.
And I think that's what it does.
But like, isn't it that the ones that go back to the liver are HCl? Is what I thought.
But
And
they're
LDL
synthesized there.
Oh. Yeah, because if you look at the picture, LDL expression, increase LDL, and then increase LDL. Oh, yeah. Well, you can see in the picture, like, increase LDL receptor expression. Well, it makes sense that if it
Wait, let's just look it up online.
No, but it makes sense that when you reduce very low density lipoprotein synthesis, it's gonna decrease the amount of cholesterol, right? But then I don't know this first one.
Okay. So statins reduce cholesterol by competitively inhibiting the enzyme, the reductase. This is established. So
Yeah.
this actually lowers the intracellular cholesterol, so triggering increased hepatic LDL receptor expression. So when we have less cholesterol being synthesized because we've inhibited the HMG-CoA reductase,
Yeah.
then it makes it so that like we have an increase in our LDL, which will boost clearance of the LDL cholesterol from our blood. And then, or it can reduce VLDL
Is
synthesis.
this like just like but why would it do that?
Because they're connected. Because it lowers the intracellular cholesterol, which triggers increased hepatic LDL receptor expression. Because if you have less cholesterol, then you're gonna want to like increase like the LDLs that you're taking in. So then it will take up those LDLs.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
know what you're saying. Because it needs more cholesterol. Okay. Yeah. So these are kind of like things that happen after
Yeah.
that they're just saying. Okay. Well, do you get this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then this picture kind of shows that you have increased number of LDL receptors that are taken up, and then low intracellular cholesterol because of the mechanism of action that statins are doing, inhibiting or competing with HMG coenzyme A reductase, and then low intracellular cholesterol decreases the secretion of VLDL. Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's just the statins. So short acting statins, so simvastatin.
I mixed up the numbers, but yeah, you kind of get it, right?
Yeah. No, I get you. Don't worry, I can read it.
Okay.
Short acting statins, so simvastatin, atorvastatin, and all that. I guess my thing is like the things that I need like explanation for. I'm like, okay. But this stuff is just like this is just things to learn.
Yeah, pharmacokinetics, you need to just read that now.
Yeah. So atorvastatin, all that. Atorvastatin versus whatever. Simvastatin. Some use it for like and that is short acting. And then atorvastatin is longer acting. Okay. Atorvastatin and then is longer acting and simvastatin is shorter acting.
Yeah.
And then
Sorry, I feel like I didn't explain the previous part good, but I hope
it's
you
okay.
understand.
I have an understanding now.
Yeah, it's just that statins act compete. Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
say it.
Statins will compete with the HMG-CoA reductase, so therefore giving us a decrease in cholesterol. Decrease in cholesterol will make it so that our LDL receptors become like more active, and then that will make it so that we will have increased LDL clearance.
Yeah, exactly. And So because there's low cholesterol, it'll be like, oh my god, I need more cholesterol in the cells, so you need a lot of LDL receptors to take up more cholesterol. And then not even that, because you're not making a lot of cholesterol, you're not gonna package them into these very low density lipoproteins. So then there's gonna be a reduction in VLDL, and there's gonna be more LDL receptors to take in more cholesterol.
I see. It vibrates. And then simvastatin, short acting. Simvastatin,
Yeah.
short acting. Atorvastatin also. So
Yeah.
vibrates. So it's like 14. So
14,
vibrate,
okay.
vibrate.
Yeah, so fibrates act in a different way. So they're agonists of the nuclear receptor peroxisome proliferator activated receptor alpha, results in increased transcription of genes in lipid metabolism. So basically what happens is that it's going to bind to this receptor, and then that receptor is going to promote the transcription of genes that are involved in lipid metabolism. So all the effects are doing is like, let's metabolize lipids. Let's get rid of cholesterol. You know what I mean? One of these is increasing lipoprotein lipase, because remember that's the protein that is involved in lipid metabolism. So that decreases triglycerides and very low density lipoproteins. And then it increases free fatty acid uptake by the liver to get rid of the free fatty acids and make them into bile, I think. Bile acid something, I don't remember. And then
bile acids.
yeah. And then reduce triglyceride hepatic synthesis, the production of very low density lipoproteins, that makes sense, right? So to increase plasma TG, increased ApoA1, which increases HDL, right? Because we want HDL to take all the cholesterol in the cells and put them back to the liver, and then modest effects on LDL may increase. But do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's mainly targeting the
like lipid metabolism and getting rid of lipid from the body.
Then, so adverse effects of statins and fibrates, hepatotoxicity. So that's basically when it's like something's toxic for the liver. So most likely to develop during the first few months of therapy, dose related. So it gives us liver failure, myopathy. Myopathy is like weakness in your muscles, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And then
I think what it's saying after is that, oh sorry.
Oh, so yeah, contraindicated. Sorry, let's see. I'm not sure that.
Which side are we on?
I'm on slide 16.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was in the previous slide.
Sorry, 15.
Oh. I think it's saying in slide 15 that like they just regulate the levels of it when you first take it, because it could be like you could have high
so
levels.
you can't give too high a dose because of hepatotoxicity.
Yeah.
So myopathy and rhabdomyolysis. This is rhabdomyolysis. We went through this. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Is it something to rhabdomyolysis?
Skeletal muscle injury leading to rapid breakdown of muscle tissue and release of toxins.
Okay.
So muscle problems.
Yeah. So myopathy and muscle. So skeletal muscle toxicity is dose related, muscle pain, tenderness, weakness, elevated plasma creatinine kinase. So if you're over 70, you have renal dysfunction, you have vitamin D deficiency, hypothyroidism, hereditary muscle disorders, and previous muscle toxicity with statin/fibrate, and also excess alcohol. And then the next type is bile acid suppressants.
Okay, so that's where I stopped.
Bile acid suppressants. So
But I think what it's saying here is that because if we look at the picture, I think it just promotes the excretion of like lipids and like promoting it to turn into bile acids and salts.
So you're promoting the liver to make more bile acid, and to make bile acid you have to use cholesterol, so you're going to use it up, and it's going to excrete, it's going to go into your intestines, it's going to excrete it out of your body, so like cholesterol.
And you can see here upregulation of LDL receptors and enhanced LDL clearance from plasma, you know?
Because they need to make it.
Yeah. So far, one is just stopping the production of cholesterol, one is promoting lipid metabolism, and then one is promoting lipids to be converted into bile acids.
Yes.
there a complicated way it's written? Because why does it go like monoclonal antibodies? Oh, because it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
And then you administer it every 2 to 4 weeks. Like,
Okay.
so it's evolocumab. You administer it every 2 to 4 weeks. The both things we need to know. Inclisiran is a synthetic small interfering RNA, and it binds knockdowns its mRNA inhibitor cells. Binds
I don't get this actually.
inclisiran. So it's a twice yearly subcutaneous. So it's used to lower LDL.
Wait, so does it degrade LDL? The PCSK9.
Yeah. Wait, no. Yeah. But like, isn't that bad though? I guess I'm like simpleton. Isn't it bad? But that's bad.
I'm confused, but why would that help? Because what is dyslipidemia?
Let me look at the mechanism of action.
Because statins want to decrease cholesterol, and then when you degrade LDLs, you're not taking up cholesterol.
Oh, sorry. What did you say?
No, say.
I just looked at Google. So lowers LDL cholesterol by utilizing RNA interference to silence the PCSK9 gene in hepatocytes, which prevents the translation of its protein, which increase LDL receptor recycling to the liver surface.
Oh.
But why is it? Oh, so the no. So the PCSK9 enzyme signals them for degradation, and then if we inhibit this, it makes it so those receptors stay.
Recycled.
Yeah.
But I don't get why.
Because we want more LDL, as we've established.
Oh, sometimes they'll use it so that they've made this small interfering RNA to basically not promote the transcription or translation of this enzyme.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Bempedoic inhibits cholesterol biosynthesis similar to statins. It's a prodrug, so it starts one way and then in your body will change to active form, and to get converted in the liver and then sparing muscles, so you're less likely to have myopathy if you are on high doses. And then oral once daily small molecule with a half-life, and then they inhibit the ATP citrate lyase within the hepatocytes, and then the inhibit is upstream of the statin-targeted HMG-CoA reductase step.
So it also inhibits cholesterol synthesis.
So it's like before we can have acetyl-CoA, the bempedoic acid is acting on the enzyme that makes citrate into acetyl-CoA. Okay, deadly. So awaiting trial conclusions. Whatever.
I need to know this. But I can explain it or try. I just need to read it. Oh, they just inhibit. So basically, you have ANGPTL3 inhibitors. So the angiopoietin-like protein normally inhibits lipoprotein lipase, and that enhances the hydrolysis of very low density lipoproteins and lowers LDL levels.
And then the CETP inhibitors, so they're designed to raise HDL and lower LDL.
Yeah.
Doesn't even say it or mechanism. They just inhibit CETP. And then the lipoprotein A triglyceride.
Do you get the first one though?
The first one, yeah, because so it's targeting the angio.
So it wants to promote, like the inhibitor wants to promote lipoprotein lipase because the protein inhibits it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it wants to promote lipoprotein lipase, and it's stopping the one that inhibits it.
Yeah. So why is it so complicated?
I don't know. Bro, Lucid, her content is not that bad. It's like the way she writes her slides, like you could make this so much hashtags.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you want to say anything?
What?
The right facts. And then summary, like I say. But do you know your
We're done with this.
Yeah, sick. Do you want to take your? Do you want to use the washroom?
Yeah.
That's really Canadian.
Oh, I really need to use the washroom. Okay, I'll be back.
I could actually water too.
You need water.
Oh, yeah, I'll go get it. I'm not used to that.
We'll do that.
But we can tell when you start the new lecture so I can join in.
Yes. We're gonna start about 2 minutes back.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, let me try looking a bit more. No worries.
15
fine.
minutes, girl. I can't go more than that.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
gotcha. No, it's chill. I was literally just looking at stuff. I'm still.
I'm about to hit that anti-coag.
I can't believe 4 hours passed.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
it's really long.
Isn't that crazy? Alright, maybe I'll bring this.
So we have like three primary anticoagulant pathways. So firstly, we have tissue factor inhibitors. So this is a dampening response. It's a dampening response. So basically, like, just like exactly, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It just like removes the the initial exciting stimulus that will like increase coagulation. So like decreases the stimulus that will initially even trigger blood clotting or like coagulation cascade, but you know what I mean. And then but yeah, it slows initiation through blocking factor 7A and factor 10. So it's like we wouldn't catalyze factor 5 to factor 5A because it would be blocking factor 7A, and then we also, even if we get to like factor 10, we would be blocking it, so it wouldn't become activated. And then next we have our protein C pathway. And then basically protein C, like I'll sorry, write it like that for now, is activated by thrombin. By thrombin. So this element of the coagulation cascade will activate protein C. And then hold on. So protein C activated by thrombin. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have a look at the this line.
Did you guys go through what protein C did? Or?
Yes, I'm just pulling it up now actually, just because I'm trying to review my notes.
It always comes up in our MCQs, and I'm just like, what's protein C? And there's another protein, it's like a protein
S.
S. Oh, what does that do?
We'll go over it now.
Yeah, like the protein S is like a cofactor for active protein C.
Okay.
So activated by thrombin, binding to thromboglobulin on the endothelial cells, and then this will give us activated protein C. Activated protein C. So I guess what protein C does is that it's an anticoagulant. And then where thrombin and thrombomodulin, like this TM complex, is procoagulation. The endothelial cell receptor, so this ECPR, enhances the activation of protein C. And then and then what protein C ultimately does is that it inhibits factor 5A. And then there's like two parts to protein C. So is this making sense of our action?
Yeah.
Okay, protein C pathway. So we have our protein C. This is just like in circulation as an anticoagulant glycoprotein. And it is activated by thrombin binding with thrombomodular, which is basically just another part of our like coagulation cascade, but it's just like not really covered super well. But yeah, T to TM. And then this is like procoagulation, right? And then another thing that will activate our protein C, because right now it's inactive, so it's not going to do what we want it to, because that's how it works as like an anticoagulant method, like in an anticoagulant matter, is that it will see this like further part once it gets to this point, and it will stop it. So it will stop the clot from becoming too big, which is why its trigger is something from like one of the final stages of blood clotting. And so this and this will help to activate the protein. And then also ECPR will increase the rate at which protein C will be activated as well. And this is like endothelial like protein C receptor. And then yeah, increase activation. And then ultimately what protein C is doing is that it inhibits factor 5A. And then there are two parts to it. So then if this is our thrombomodulator, this is our
Wait,
thrombin,
can I
and then
ask-
this is our thrombomodulator.
Wait, can I ask what does thrombomodular do?
I'm pretty sure these are like procoagulants,
Oh, okay.
glycoproteins. I mean, he doesn't really go too much into it, but yeah, it's just like these are procoagulant glycoproteins.
And when they attach to each other, they activate protein C.
Yes, but also what they do is that like they're ultimately like aggregating more platelets and it's like increasing the clotting, but like
They also-
while they're doing that, they also
Protein C.
are activating the mechanism to stop the clotting as well
So the
because it's gone
negative-
too far in this stage.
Yeah.
So this is our thrombin and then this is our thrombomodulin. And then there seems to be some platelets. I don't know why I keep going into that one. Whatever. Okay, so like protein C will then like bind onto this, and then it will become activated. And then it has like two receptors on it. So one of them is ARG 506. Now this will like only like partially, because I'm doing a small arrow, partially inhibit. And then we have ARG 306, which will slowly inhibit. And then, yeah, and then protein, the relevance of protein S is that it's a cofactor for protein S. It's a cofactor for activated protein C. And it increases. It's like it increases the rate of it. Yes. So it increases the rate by increasing its affinity for phospholipids. It basically like donates like a gamma carboxyglutaminic acid domain. But yeah. And then antithrombin. What do I do? I'll do it a few. Wait, can you guys see if I write here?
If it inhibits F5A, what does that do?
Inhibits factor 5A because this is one of the things of our
That it
extrinsic.
coagulates.
Exactly.
Okay.
Can you-
And then what are those orange things?
These are just like receptors that are coming off of our protein C. So these are like or not protein, but they're like part of like the surface of the protein C, and then they are like it's the functional part.
But it binds to what?
This is just all in protein C.
But what do you mean fully inhibit, partially inhibit?
As in, like, that's what they do, these two functional parts, these two domains of our protein C.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So
Yeah.
they have a 506 part where they partially inhibit, and they also have a 306 part where they fully inhibit.
Yes, exactly. Is everything okay so far?
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, we
This is
have-
pretty easy to understand.
Exactly, it's like quite intuitive. And then this is antithrombin.
That's the big one.
Exactly.
That's very.
So they're like patient, so they search for thrombin. And they bind to it. And this antithrombin, thrombin, like complex, is inactive. So yeah, our antithrombin will find our thrombin, which is a procoagulation glycoprotein, and will bind to it. So it's like stopping something that would continue the coagulation, especially because we have a lot of thrombin around, which is part of our coagulation cascade. So we're just like stopping that in its tracks before it becomes too loud. And then and it's a serpin, just like for details of what thrombin is. Serpin, which has a high affinity for serine proteases, which is what thrombin is, exactly. For serine proteases, and it can bind. But yeah, it can bind in a 1-to-1 ratio. So this is our antithrombin, and it's bound to one thrombin. And then basically, do you remember
Is
heparin?
sepin the antithrombin?
Hmm?
Is sepin the antithrombin?
Yes, it's a serpin.
Sorry.
It's just like a classification for it.
Oh, okay.
And then do you remember heparin from our iron absorption?
Heparin, I remember this. Do you want me to spoil it or?
Yes, spoil away.
Okay, heparin makes antithrombin work extremely well. Like it goes like 10 times the effectiveness of it. Or not 10 times, like some really high number.
Effectiveness.
1,000. Like it goes really. I feel like the ratio increases. So like that's what my guess is. Like I think maybe antithrombin can now bind to a lot more thrombin because it's not the thing.
It's kind of like the positive feedback of the other thing.
Yeah, heparin just like helps antithrombin do really well. That's what I remember.
Exactly.
Proliferation.
I don't think so. As in like making more antithrombin or making it be able to
Making more
bind. No, unfortunately. So we have this initial connection, but this is like kind of between our like initial binding of our antithrombin and our thrombin. This is not very strong, and then there's like a further binding that needs to happen, right? So what heparin basically does is it makes this second stronger final bonding happen much quicker. So it just increases its effectiveness. So you were dead on. You were dead right there.
But how does it increase its effectiveness?
It alters the conformational active site and brings thrombin closer. So like
so
after
it brings it closer. Okay.
exactly. So alters, yes, it makes the conformation. The conformational active site. It like moves it so it's closer.
Mm-hmm.
And does that make it like quicker to attach? Okay.
This is good. Isn't this fun?
And that's it. That's a lecture.
Don't you learn like more like this?
Yeah, so much more.
Yeah, I'm like ninja nerd.
Yeah, it's like having a tutor for free.
Like that's better than most.
It's like having a tutor for free.
Yeah, this is like helpful for me as well. And for that's literally the whole
All of
lecture.
it.
So we've gone through all 3 of Davy's lectures.
Yay!
No, they
We
have
did
so-
5 lectures today.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we should do that for sure. But to be honest, like maybe next semester we're basically gonna be so locked in if we all are doing scholars, you know?
No, it's not.
Because are you gonna do it?
Do scholars? I would really like to.
Yeah, you should. You should 100% do it.
That's the hope. That's the dream. I'm like so happy with all the work I've done. So.
Same.
Wow, look at that.
So do you want to do reproductive system in the lab tomorrow?
And the last one. Sure. Yes.
Also, I have these notes if you want. You can take a picture of them. But
I want to print out stuff for the laptop.
and basically, I was reading over all the like black and white guideline thingies where you like read before the lab before they put it up the screen.
Oh yes, the learning objectives.
Yeah, and I did for 3 of them.
Oh, do you know what? If that's still on your account, like your trip, did you email it? Did you print it out?
Oh, I can send it to you. Yeah.
What's it? I'm like, I'm trying to get my 5 for work.
Oh my god, you can log into mine and just print whenever you want, by the way.
Really? I mean, I kind of did do that with the. Wait, no, I already told you about this. Did I tell you about this? For
What?
my family case study. No, I did because I told you I put the money in there.
Yeah, but
do you know
you
how much
can
that
use
cost me? It cost me like 170, and I put how much did I put in here?
You put like 5.
Yeah, so I'm like, now I'm gonna use your account for the rest of college. I
Oh,
just
no.
won't time that much.
I'll send you like my thing. Wait.
Yeah. I think I'm going to look down. Actually, I'm just going to look steps. I might look down into empty on the stage tomorrow.
Yeah, go to it. Come on. But do you want this?
Yeah, I'll probably just put. Oh, do you not want it?
Well, I finished reviewing this today. Well, I can bring it tomorrow and we can review it.
Yeah. Oh, I can take it.
Yeah. Wait, I think go. Well,
See,
next
that's not gonna hang out.
Yeah, go and come back. Wait, let me see if.
come back. I'll wait for you guys outside, and I'll show you a text. Like how long is left? What do you want to do next one?
No, let me wait for him.
Yeah.
Mm.